and even if they lean towards liberty a little bit, they still think it's safer to sit on the sideline. No, things are too dark. Things are getting too serious, folks. We're entering a very dangerous time. All of you need to do whatever you can, whether it's getting information out. If you're a police officer, you know about a unit of police that was assigned to help these private contractor anarchists come in. Just like they used an anarchist to start World War I or an anarchist to bomb Wall Street. That was the bankers doing that. An anarchist is just an agent of chaos so the system can come in. I don't mean an anarchist in its true sense. I mean these people calling themselves anarchists are normally just communist youth brigade people brought in by foundations.
Absolutely, Alex. I like to call myself a philosophical anarchist. I believe in the true ideals of anarchism against big government. But these black bloc children, most of them were very young. They were just there. Oh, we're here to commit crime. We're here to just smash things up. They're just idiots. And I wish I was able to confront some of them. But strangely enough, the police didn't let us get anywhere near them because they were protecting them. So that's the way these things go.
Well, that's how they got caught in Denver. That's how they got caught in Seattle and in Canada 2.5 years ago in Montebello, for those that want to look it up, was that they would then slip behind the police lines and be protected, because I myself for 10 years and many others since then have been pointing out, follow the anarchists, follow them. 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up going to a police substation. Find them, and it's a devastating blow against the New World Order. If we can only bust them a few more times, then everyone will know that it is the government doing it. And we've almost gotten to that game over point because we've caught them so many times. But now the police are countering that, really protecting their operatives.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in learning about what happened in Montebello, they can check out a film I produced called The Nation's Deathbed. We documented the entire event that took place there. And me and Charlie have been working hard at the G20 to document everything that's going on, but the powers that be have been trying to stifle our efforts. On the key day, my website went down. Anytime I try to have any communications with some of my camera guys, my cell phone would just drop out. When I came back to try to upload raw footage to YouTube, entire 3-4 minute chunks were cut out and all the audio was out of sync. So I was forced to put it on the Press for Truth Facebook group. So there are clearly people out there trying to stop independent journalists from getting the truth out about what actually happened in downtown Toronto.
Well, that's a central point that you just raised there, because when I was at Bilderberg 2008 covering it, we knew Obama was coming. He shook the media. He was there. The media for 2 days ran around like idiots trying to find out where he was. We knew. We told them. We called local newspapers, and they just said, we're not allowed to report. But the day before they threw us out, all of this NSA and Mossad and military personnel and Secret Service were taking over the ballrooms and side offices and had surveillance equipment. And I actually walked by rooms and heard them going, I'm going to get that Navy satellite. Well, how do you patch through on the Army satellite? Wait, I've got him. I've got him. Yeah, we've got protesters out at the front. And I'd be sitting there getting a Gatorade in the gift shop, and there'd be an office listening to, I mean, just spooks running around everywhere. And then I would try to call my guys, and somebody pop on the line and laugh at us, then cut it off. My cell phone, I'd call my wife and say something to her, and they'd call her up and make threats at her and tell her what we just talked about, so she knew it was the government. So, yes, when you have these special national security, international security events that cost $1.2 billion in security, they're bringing in private contractors by the tens of thousands. It's a giant exercise in Google-type technology, which they now admit is illegal, and states are looking at indicting them, scooping up everybody's digital transmissions and decoding it without warrants. We had G20 security call us when we saw the footage of the guy being grabbed in Pittsburgh and crammed into a car by guys in military uniforms into a Champaign police car. And it went up on Drudge Report, and people are saying, you know, snatch and grab, goons kidnap activists for no reason. And they put a press release out. First, they called us, and I could hardly believe it, but I called the number. It was G20 Security in Pittsburgh. And I talked to them, and they said, no, Mr. Jones, that video is our private security personnel authorized by City Emergency Code, and they said it, to be detaining active troublemakers. But the issue is we later learned, because I could tell by the video, it was fake. They were out with their own operatives grabbing protesters out of crowds to create a psyop and scare people. So it's all about theater of the mind, what Charlie Veitch was just saying about selling you that you're going to be snatched, you're going to be grabbed, don't come out to these, don't mess with the bankers. And, of course, they're patched into YouTube. Of course they're editing what you're doing. This is an exercise in warring against us. We're the legitimate people saying we don't want to be raped by the foreign banks. We don't want to go into serfdom like Greece or Iceland. And they're saying, no, you're going to feel our full might. And so they are testing, and they admit this at each of these events, how to bring in their internationalization of a city, how to have secret police, how to have their criminal operation dominate everyone. This is about the city and your state, your region, your country going under globalist control. And they are under globalist control in these events. This is about your city going under foreign private corporate control. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to just touch upon that as well, Alex. I'm just so proud of the Toronto residents and the other associated protesters for the incredible restraint they showed amidst such police thuggery. The New World Order, they want a violent response from the public right now to further speed up their imposition of this technotronic advanced slave society. I believe right now, as what you're doing, Alex, as what Dan is doing, as what I'm doing right now, we just need to unlock people's minds, wake them up. But I just want to give a warning to the New World Order that death-worshipping fascism has always failed throughout history. And as long as tyrants die, liberty will never be stopped. Throughout history, we have always won, and we are guided, we are divinely guided, and we will do whatever it takes. If they become much more fascist, we will resist the same way that they resisted in World War II Europe. We will do whatever it takes to defend what we believe in, because we are human beings, our lives have value. And we will not take it. But right now, they're not forcing people to join the armed forces. They're not forcing people to go into McDonald's. They're not forcing people to take vaccinations. They're using mind control.
Well, they're trying, though. They're starting to get ready for that, though.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, other points that both of you want to make about what you've witnessed while you're there.
Absolutely. Whilst we were running down to Queen and Spadina to cover the mass concentration camp roundup of those 244 reporters and civilians, Dan and I got searched about 3 times, and there was a boy, he must have been about 17 years old, who was running through the rain. He was giving us a quick interview, and then an unmarked car came blasting round the corner. 6 officers jumped out and snatched him off the street in front of us. And then one of the officers, in fact, all 6 of them came into our little cubbyhole away from the rain, and they started pointing at Dan, saying, oh, yeah, we know you. You're a known conspiracy theorist. Oh, yeah, and we know Alex Jones. He's that tinfoil hat wearer. So they were mentioning you as well, Alex. So you can imagine the intelligence reports that get given about people like us, about how we're just crazy, paranoid, anti-government loonies.
I guess Goldman Sachs hasn't stolen $600 trillion, according to the Washington Post. I guess we're not going into a depression. I guess they didn't lie about WMDs. I guess they're not torturing people. I guess, I mean, don't these police understand what they're helping to build?
I don't think they all do. I think, as we saw, a lot of them are chosen for their obedience, psychological acquiescence to power. As Alan Watt from Cutting Through the Matrix talks about, in the psychopathic hierarchy of control, they worship people more powerful than them, and they hate people less powerful, like the general public. So it is a kind of egomaniac, sadomasochist enjoyment of power. Which
well, it is a power trip. I mean, a lot of these people who do work for the government never had success in life, and suddenly they're given a badge, a gun, all this power, but I mean, it's coming out everywhere that everything we've talked about is true. I mean, they would say 5 years ago that I was a kook, that they weren't going to set up cybersecurity when I'd read the Pentagon plans for it that were public. And now they're openly saying, yes, we're going to track you. Yes, we're going to spy on you. Yes, we're going to shut you down. Yes, we want to arrest people that tell conspiracy theories. I mean, what do they think is going to happen when they start trying to arrest people for their speech? Everybody's been fighting as hard as they can to keep this peaceful. But I don't think they realize we're not the poor, disarmed Russian peasants. We're not the disarmed Germans. And not everybody is a pot-bellied, decadent slob. I mean, I don't think all these little kids in black uniforms realize that they are really starting something that isn't going to end well.
No, I agree with you, Alex, 100%. Across the world, I think people are ready